Philadelphia in the 1700s was a settlement of change, an expanding colonial capital defined by commerce, thinking, and the start of rebellion. Thanks to new advanced AI software, we can now reconstruct these scenes with unprecedented precision. By analyzing actual 18th century charts, illustrations, and artworks, we're able to demonstrate how Philadelphia is likely to have appeared, the structures, thoroughfares, people, and atmosphere of the period, allowing us to step back nearly 300 years and experience the settlement as early Philadelphians once did. This is Market Street in 18th century Philadelphia, one of the settlement's most significant civic passages. The illustration captures a moment when this lane functioned as the center of public existence. The large brick structure on the left is the settlement's first courthouse, a focal point for law, commerce, and daily administration in the expanding colonial capital. Just beyond it, to the north along 2nd Street, rises the spire of Christ Church, one of Philadelphia's earliest and most influential religious institutions. The muddy roadway, crowded with wagons, horses, and pedestrians, reflects the reality of urban existence before paved lanes. Market Street was not simply a location of trade. It was where Philadelphians assembled, discussed, worshipped, and quietly shaped the settlement's destiny. This is an eastward perspective of the city of Philadelphia around 1790. Observed from across the Delaware River, the hand-colored illustration captures the settlement at the peak of its late 18th century expansion. The waterway in the foreground is the Delaware, a deep tidal passage that connected Philadelphia directly to the Atlantic world. Its wide channel allowed ocean-going vessels to reach the settlement's wharves, making Philadelphia one of the most significant ports in North America. The waterfront is packed with sailing vessels, merchant ships, river craft, and smaller boats moving constantly between shore and channel. Through this waterway flowed food, timber, manufactured goods, and people, linking the settlement to Europe, the Caribbean, and the interior of the continent. Rising above the rooftops are the spires of Philadelphia's churches, forming a skyline that signaled both prosperity and stability. Perspectives like this presented Philadelphia as a confident commercial capital of the young United States, anchored by the waterway that sustained it. This is a perspective of the house at 7th and Market Streets in Philadelphia in the late 18th century. Recognized at the period as Jacob Graf's home, it stood within one of the settlement's busiest residential neighborhoods. In 1776, these chambers were where Thomas Jefferson drafted much of the Declaration of Independence. The structure itself was typical of Philadelphia architecture: brick construction, symmetrical windows, and restrained Georgian design. Images like this remind us that some of the most consequential ideas in American history emerged not from grand halls, but from ordinary city houses set along muddy lanes filled with every tool. Speaking of Thomas Jefferson and the Declaration, it's not Philadelphia in the 1700s without this. This is the Pennsylvania State House in 1776, the political center of the settlement and one of its most significant public structures. Completed decades earlier, the State House functioned as the meeting location for colonial assemblies and congresses. Its orderly design reflected the ideals of balance, reason, and civic authority that defined Philadelphia at the period. Inside these walls, delegates from the colonies assembled during the summer of 1776. It was here that the Declaration of Independence was debated, approved, and signed, marking a decisive break from British rule. Images like this position Philadelphia at the center of events that would transform the Atlantic world, converting a colonial settlement into the birthplace of a fresh nation. From this chamber, a single choice set in motion a sequence of events that would permanently alter the course of world history. 11 years after independence, Philadelphia again became the setting for a defining moment in American history. In 1787, delegates from the states assembled here to determine how the fresh nation would be governed. George Washington presided over the Constitutional Convention, chosen for his authority and restraint. Though he spoke infrequently, his presence helped impose order on a chamber shaped by disagreement and competing interests. Meeting behind closed doors in the Pennsylvania State House, the delegates debated representation, federal power, and the balance between states and a central government, laying the foundations of a political system that would endure beyond the revolutionary generation. If you're enjoying this walk through Philadelphia's revolutionary past, let me know by hitting the like button. It helps others discover these historical journeys too. This is the Philadelphia Almshouse in the late 18th century, relocated in 1767 to a newly built complex on the edge of the settlement. Recognized at the period as the House of Employment, it reflected Philadelphia's approach to poverty, labor, and public responsibility. The almshouse sheltered the poor, the sick, the elderly, and those unable to support themselves, combining care with compulsory work. Life inside the almshouse was strictly ordered. Days were structured around labor, meals, and supervision with little privacy and few comforts. This is Front and Market Street in 18th century Philadelphia, home to the London Coffee House. More than a location to drink coffee, it was one of the settlement's central gathering points for business, news, and politics. Merchants, ship captains, and citizens met here to exchange information, negotiate deals, and conduct public auctions. The open lot beside the structure served as an extension of this activity, used for sales of goods and at times enslaved people, reflecting the realities of Atlantic commerce in the colonial world. In locations like this, Philadelphia's economic and political existence unfolded in public view, where conversation, commerce, and power met at street level in the years preceding independence. This is the old courthouse of Philadelphia in the 18th century, a central site of law and civic order in the expanding colonial settlement. Here, disputes were settled, contracts recorded, and the rules of public existence enforced. It was also a location where newcomers, immigrants arriving from across the Atlantic, entered the legal world of the settlement, registering property, debts, and obligations as they began fresh lives in America. Structures like this form the civic framework of a settlement, shaped as much by immigration as by ideas. This is the stone prison of Philadelphia in 1728, one of the settlement's earliest institutions of confinement and public discipline. Built of heavy masonry and set apart from residential lanes, it reflected the colonial belief that order was maintained through visibility and restraint. For many newcomers and longtime residents alike, this structure marked the boundary between liberty and authority in the expanding settlement. Once again, Philadelphia stood at the center of events that would shape the course of history. Like settlements across the Atlantic world, its past endures in pictures like these. Snapshots of a world long gone, brought briefly back to life. These streets, these structures, these moments weren't just backdrops to history. They were where ordinary people made extraordinary decisions that echo into our present day. Standing here, even in recreation, reminds us that the ideas born in these chambers, the debates held in these halls, and the choices made along these muddy lanes didn't just change one settlement. They reshaped entire continents and inspired movements that continue to unfold centuries later. What we've explored today is more than nostalgia. It's a window into the forces that built the world we inherited. A reminder that transformation often begins in the most unexpected places, and that the past still has lessons worth learning. If this journey through time moved you, subscribe to join us as we reconstruct more cities, more moments, and more chapters of the human story. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see brought back to life next. Another settlement waiting to be rediscovered? A pivotal moment that changed everything, a historic speech that shook the world, or a scene from the past you've always wondered about. Your suggestions shape where we go next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next reconstruction.